As far as Romania is concerned, as I said, we support a decision on suspending the issuance of visas for tourism, provided that this decision is taken on solid legal basis, because we need to have a solid legal fundament for such a decision. We think that tourism is not a fundamental right. It is something that should be granted, also taking into account the current state of affairs between EU and Russia. At the same time, it is also important to allow the issuance of visas for Russian citizens who are dissidents or who are running from the oppression, who are threatened by the regime. Many of these citizens are also using tourist visas. We have to be aware of that. And we have to take basically into account all such situations which represent exceptions which should not be touched by a decision of suspension. Humanitarian visas as well, medical visas. There are also other situations that might be taken and should be taken into account when we take such decisions.
So a blanket ban on tourists, but exceptions for humanitarian cases and dissidents.
I think this is the, as far as Romania is concerned, I think this is the right approach. In order, on one hand, to give a very clear political signal, because indeed, quite a large percentage of the Russian society is supporting President Putin's war of aggression against Ukraine. On the other hand, we have to keep the door open for those who need to be exposed to European values on one hand, and on the other hand, to protect those who are, in a way or another, opposing the regime in Russia.
On grain and corn exports from Ukraine, a lot of it's going through Romania, of course. What can Romania do to increase the volume that's being shipped through the Black Sea port of Constanta and barges via the Danube as well?
I think we have done a lot to increase our capacities. We still have to do more. One has to say that last year there was basically no shipments of Ukrainian grain through Romania because Ukraine was using its own ports and the Black Sea routes to the Black Sea Straits, and from that to third country destinations. But since the beginning of the war, we have improved our capacity to facilitate the transit of these shipments, and as of 17th of August, for instance, more than 3.4 billion tons of million tons of Ukrainian grain have been shipped through Romania, which is more than a half of the total of the Ukrainian grain exports during this period. And we continue with this. We have acted in order to facilitate the transit. It's not just about the Constanța port, but also about the Galați port on the Danube. We have modernized a wide gauge railway connection from the border with Ukraine to the Galați port itself in order to be able to bring Ukrainian grain directly.